with examples. There are, I think, getting more and more jobs where you actually don't have to know everything, like fixing nails or fixing cars. You don't have to go really into the chemistry or molecular biology. Yeah, yeah. You just plug in, you tell the computer, and it fixes. So, so what do you think, Frank? Is it what kind of society we're moving forward? Is it that we are going to have more jobs where you actually have to dig very deep and have to know very well to be good at what you're doing, or we are getting more people who will just be good enough if they know how to install some things, even if it's a computer or robot, and you don't have to have the whole education background?
I think to answer that, we need to look at the big picture, and we also need to look at it over time. If you look at what's become completely normal today, or what has been until not so long ago, which is that people had to have a high level of education in order to do certain types of jobs. That wasn't always the case. I mean, if you go back, say, 40 years, maybe 50 years, then what happened was exactly the opposite, where people with lesser qualification suddenly had to make way to people who had a greater qualification, although that greater qualification wasn't really necessary in order to get the job done. So what we're seeing today is exactly the opposite trend, where because highly qualified people aren't available anymore in such large numbers, companies are actually starting to think about the qualifications that they really need to have rather than the nice to have. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that we're moving back into this sort of situation that we were already in economically many years ago. That said, there will always be a requirement. There will always be a requirement for a very substantial amount of knowledge. In the end, these short courses that we're talking about, to me, are like a mosaic. I give you a piece of a mosaic. If you don't have the total picture, if you don't know, or a puzzle, if you don't know what the entire picture looks like, how are you going to know what to do with that piece? And this is where universities come in, the holistic view on things.
Yeah. A little bit to add on this, I think, from very practical examples, what we've seen. Of course, you let's say, as you mentioned, this example with testing, and there might be, of course, some cases where person can grow out of this into something more complex, but what we are seeing right now and there have been many attempts also in Latvian industry to actually make these courses how to transform adult person into an IT person. But if this person at the very deep level in his school years, if he has failed in mathematics, there is nothing you can help. There is nothing. I mean, that's why we are right now having this big discussion with the Ministry of Education, that around grade 6 there's this big wall where people are separated into two parts. Part of people who can still understand something in the mathematics, and the other part who doesn't. So we have to save this others, because there is no reason that person should not understand mathematics. There are some stigmas, and there's lots of big discussion about this one. But if you lose this person at the grade 6, there's nothing you can do.